Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we have an EDH deck tech for you of Edgar Markov. He is a 6-mana Mardu colored legendary vampire. He's one of the new pre-con commanders. So he has the Eminence trigger. Whenever you cast a vampire, you put a 1/1, cast a vampire spell, you may put a 1/1 black vampire creature token into play. He has first strike and haste, and when he attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on each vampire you control. So Edgar is our commander, and we're just going to jump right in. He's pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of tell what he's about. He wants to get your vampires into play, buff them up, and just swing out. So we're going to start with our mana base, and we are running 4 swamps, 2 mountains, 2 plains, and then all of the enter tap lands, all of the life gain tap lands. Then we have a few of the fast lands. We have a couple pain lands, 1 cycling land, a Temple of Malice for the Scry, a check land, 2 of the bounce lands, Nomad's Outpost, Command Tower, Forbidden Orchard, City Brass. You have so much life gain, City Brass doesn't matter. Exotic Orchard. Path of Ancestry is really nice. It gives you a scry when you cast a vampire. Temple of the False God, Evolving Wilds, Tamarisk Expanse. Rogue's Passage is just nice to get Edgar in for an easy commander win, or commander damage win. So giving him unblockable is nice. And then we have Maze of Ith, just to deal with problem creatures that we can't block. Next, we're going to jump into the artifacts. We're going to start out with our mana rocks. We have Everflowing Chalice. It's just a nice, doesn't matter when you draw it. Early game it's good, late game it's still good. So you have Everflowing Chalice, Soul Ring, 2 of the signets. We have Boros and Rakdos, Worn Power Stone, and then we're moving on to our cost reductors. We have Urza's Incubator, obviously naming vampires to make our vampires cost you less. Then we have Seal of the Guild Pact. Most of the time you're just going to choose black and red, just because those are your most mana-intensive colors in this deck. Then, of course, it's Commander, so we have to play Sensei's Dividing Top. We have Basilisk Collar, just to give things Death Touch, and gives them that little bit of lifelink to start our lifelink engine going. You can kind of see a sub-theme of life gain in this deck. Then we have Swiftfoot Boots to give things protection. Well-Lost Dreams, taking advantage of that life gain sub-theme with card draw. Aetherflux Reservoir, one of the big cards for life gain. You can just win a game of Commander with this card. Door of Destinies, obviously, it's Commander. Vanquisher's Banner, it's nice because it gives you that buff, and it also gives you card draw, which in Mardu is definitely something that you want. We have Coat of Arms. This is nice, just make sure not everyone is playing Tribal as well, otherwise it kind of backfires on you. Then you have Obelisk of Erd, just to give creatures another buff. Now we're going to move on to our instances. We're going to start with a little bit of removal. We have Path to Exile and Swords Plowshares, Go for the Throat, Crib Swap, Mortify, Crackling Doom, all just to get rid of problem creatures. All have their advantages and disadvantages, like Crackling Doom, obviously. Then we are going to move on to our blinks in this deck, which we're kind of running a sub-theme of board wipes, so it's nice to have blink cards. Obviously, we're running Teferi's Protection, came with the deck, and is extremely powerful. And kind of its little brother here is Eerie Interlude. You can select the number of creatures you want to blink out, so it's definitely not as good as Teferi's Protection, but it's still a solid include. And then we're running Return to Dust just to get rid of any problem cards. Next, we are running our sorceries. We have Mizian Mortars, obviously just for board wiping in general. We have Consuming Vapors to make our opponent sack. Fiery Confluence, this is just such a versatile card. You could use it to destroy or you can use it for 6 damage, or you can just destroy a bunch of artifacts. We have New Blood 2. It's basically Act of Treason, but better. You get to keep it forever, and it becomes a vampire, so we can take advantage of all of our tribal buffs. We're running Follow the Mighty. This card's really nice, especially once you can kind of get kind of a word state where you're getting Edgar on into play and buffing up your creatures with +1/+1 counters, you can just board wipe the rest of your opponent's creatures while leaving your board relatively untouched. Then we have Blood Tribute. This card is really nice. Just gives us life gain, hurts our opponent. It's just a solid card. We have Day of Judgment, Merciless Eviction, and Jekyll Hops, all as board wipes to take advantage of those blink effects. Obviously, Jekyll Hops is kind of the worst of the three, and you never really want to play this, but being able to destroy everything and make it so that they can't be regenerated is a solid card. Then we're running 2 X-Spells. We have Battle at the Bridge. Improvise doesn't matter. What matters is that life gain trigger. We get to kill something, and we get to gain life. It's exactly what vampires want to do. Damageable Pack is nice just to give you card draw. Sure, you're going to lose life, but with the amount of life gain you have, that's not really that big of an issue. Now we're going to move on to our enchantments. We're running 1 flip enchantment in the form of Legion's Landing. This card is nice, gives you an immediate effect, gives you that 1/1 lifelink for 1 mana, and then when it flips, once you attack with 3 or more creatures, which is super easy to do with Edgar, you flip it, and then you can produce a 1/1 every single turn. After that, we're running Intangible Virtue. Obviously, just what's better than having big creature tokens is giving them Vigilance. Then we're running Ashes of the whatever. Mainly, this top part doesn't really matter. I mean, it gets our flashback cards, but whatever. The second clause is where this is at. Whenever a creature dies, you gain 1 life. That's really the most important part of that card for this deck anyway. We want to gain as much life as possible so we can take advantage of our a few of our other cards. So we're running Blind Obedience as well. This is just fun. Slows your opponent down while also giving you an extort on everything you play. So that's nice. Underworld Connections, you're gaining a ton of life. You might as well trade that in for some cards. This allows you to do that. Anointed Procession, because what's funnier than putting 1/1 vampire into play whenever you cast a vampire? Putting 2. Running Black Market just for some mana advantage. And then Access of Mortality. This card is super fun, and it's super political. You can kind of help an opponent out by exchanging life totals with them, but really, this card is to make it so that if you are, for some reason, your life gain is not working, you're about to die, you can switch life totals with your opponent, and it's a 6-mana enchantment, but it works every single time. It's going to matter every single time when you use this, when you use the effect. So, we're only running 1 Planeswalker in the deck, and that's Sorin Lord of Innistrad, primarily for his +1 ability. His -2, sure, but we have enough anthems already. We really don't need it, but that last ability is really nice if you can get him up to 6 counters before he's destroyed. Now, onto the creatures. They are all vampires, shockingly, I know. But we're actually not running that many of them. Really, we really just want to ramp, gain life, and, just take advantage of our vampire sub-theme. So we're running Blood Artist because he does exactly that. Gives you life, drains your opponent. Same with Tithe Drinker, lifelink with Extort. We have Vampire Nighthawk, obviously, just an auto-include in most vampire decks. Then we have Yahini. Yahini's really nice. Really, I never end up using his bottom ability, but having a 2/2 haste vampire is always nice, and he does get bigger. Then we have Marvin, as everyone in my play group knows him. So whenever you make a non-token vampire, so whenever you cast a vampire, you put a 1/1 lifelink into play, and because of Edgar, you put a 1/1 black vampire into play as well. So it just doubles your token output. Then we have Stormkirk Captain, just to make our vampires a little bigger. Again, another anthem in form Captivating Vampire. Also, that second ability. I was in a game the other day where I was able to drop this. My turret played the Ur Dragon on turn 5, and I was able to steal it on my turn with Captivating Vampire, which was pretty awesome. Then we have Sangromancer. Sangromancer is one of those cards that is probably going to die relatively quick because it's powerful, but if you can get this working, its bottom clause, we really don't take advantage of it in this build, but that top clause, gaining 3 life, is really nice. Then we're running Sanctum Seeker, obviously taking advantage of our life gain sub-theme. Then we have this card, which is just amazing. Bloodsword Steward. For 4 mana, 90% of the time, this is going to be a 6/6 flyer, and then you're going to swing with Edgar, and then it's going to be a 7/7 flyer after that. So it's really good. Then we're running Bloodlord of Visgoth. Giving everything Bloodthirst is just a super easy way to end out games. Malakir Bloodwitch, again, super easy way to end out games. We're running a ton of vampires. We're going to have a ton of tokens, and this has protection from white, which is really, really important. Then we're running Vona, the new vampire legendary. This card's really nice, too. Again, we're going to take advantage of that, of our life gain sub-theme, and use it to destroy opponents' permanents. Then we're running Patron of the Vein. This card, again, is just a nice vampire. Costs 6, so it's a little expensive, but you're getting a kill spell on it, and it gets bigger with its +1/+1 counters. Now we're running vampires that aren't actually vampires. Again, Adaptive Automaton is just another Anthem, and we're running so many of them, even a small board state can end up being very significant. Then we're running Turin Mauler. It's a vampire because of Changeling, and it gets huge. And then we're running Mirror Entity just to give our creatures a little bonus if we're running it up against kind of a stompier deck where they're playing bigger creatures. So that is the deck. Those are all the vampires. And I know that doesn't look like enough, but trust me, it is, because we're putting out so many 1/1 vampires. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I should have some gameplay video with this deck coming up very soon. And then I believe I'm going to... depending on how well that video does, I might start doing that every now and then. And I also have a Zur, the Enchanter deck, coming up. So, like, subscribe, and have a nice day.